So, RJ, the reigning MVP in the NFL is Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens are 6-2, having another strong start to their season. Lamar Jackson, in appearing on the Rich Eisen show, said that defenses this year know the plays that are coming and are yelling out run and pass as they come to the line of scrimmage there in Baltimore.
Now, a lot of people might say if you look at the Ravens, they've lost to the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. They've lost to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, and they've won every other game. If you're 6-2, that means you're going to be 12-4 if it continues. That's a pretty good season. In fact, Fez, no team hardly ever is expected to be better than 12-4, right? So an over-under win total of like 12.5 is almost unheard of.
Yeah, Kansas City and Baltimore were both lined at 11.5 wins, the two co-favorites.
But the numbers tell a different story. Number one, let's talk Super Bowl odds. The Ravens, the whole year, were number 2 behind Kansas City.
Yes.
At different points, almost number 1. And Fez, you've said at various points, I'm going to try to imitate you here. It might not be exactly right, but you said the following. The distance between the first 2 teams, Kansas City and Baltimore, are the most I can remember. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But that isn't really the case anymore, or do you still think it's the case?
It is not the case anymore.
But the Ravens are winning mostly. So what is it that troubles you about the Ravens? And then we'll talk about what Lamar maybe is seeing.
So Lamar Jackson obviously just had a tremendous year last year, and he's struggling with a lot of his passes. His QBR is number 17 after being number 1 last year.
Okay, and you're saying though they're winning, it's problematic.
Yes.
I agree with that. Let's look at success rate, which is a concept in football that every play based on the yardage and down has a criteria of success. And generally teams, it's 50%. Each of them, if you're above 50, you're doing a little bit better than average. Below 50, you're doing worse than average. If you look at it, passing the ball, Baltimore's down about 5 percentage points on their success rate. So down a little bit. Here's what no one's talking about. The defenses that Baltimore's played against the pass. So Lamar passing against those defenses, second most difficult schedule of opposing defenses against the pass in the NFL. Lamar's been going against tough pass defenses. Probably explains a lot of it. Now, what is also a problem, though, that's not explainable is the rush efficiency of Baltimore has dropped about the same amount. And there's no reason because the defenses against the rush are below average the Ravens have played. But even more concerning, Lamar Jackson's efficiency went from through the roof, outstanding, to 11 points below average. So the average success rate for a quarterback run is 60%. Lamar's success rate is 49%. 11 percentage points below an average running quarterback. To me, this harkens back to the Wildcat. What is Lamar's offense except perhaps a glorified Wildcat? You got a Wildcat back that can throw. I've always been a fan since Lamar started of John Harbaugh thinking he'll keep iterating, making changes, adjustments. Defense will try to do this, and then Harbaugh will do that. Well, just like in an NBA 7-game series, adjustment, reaction to it. At some point, there's no moves left. It feels like the defenses have been iterating on making adjustments on Lamar's running, and at this point, the Ravens don't have another move, it seems like. Now, it could change in the future. And Fez, you believe we saw maybe a little bit of that against the Colts.
Yeah, so what happened against the Colts is Baltimore was completely unable to run the ball in the first half. And then Baltimore basically said, you know what, this isn't working. And they threw the ball aggressively throughout the third quarter, and they made that adjustment, and they were successful.
10 out of 10, I think he was, Lamar, in the second half. What I find interesting is if you surprise at halftime with a whole different style of play, it might work in that game. But where do you go from there? Now, in theory, the next opponent has to prepare for both. But if Lamar can throw when the other team's ready for him, then he truly is a great NFL quarterback. If he can only throw when the other team has to sell out for the run, then when the run stops working, where are you at? So finally, the ultimate question for Lamar is, there's never been a situation where a at least good I'm not even sure if a non-elite thrower has ever been a good quarterback for an extended period. Is it possible he becomes a good thrower? Yes, but it would buck a lot of history. Remember, Lamar went as the 32nd pick for a reason. There was skepticism. Lamar almost was benched in the first playoff game his rookie year. Lamar didn't even start until mid-year. Last year's MVP, amazing. Let's give the guy a ton of credit. But now the defense have adjusted, and at least statistically, the Ravens are not near as good on offense. Your move, John Harbaugh, we'll see.